Hey, what's up BookTube and fantasy fans? I'm Kevin Rothard and this is my channel. Today's video is going to be a BookTube Newbie Challenge, and I honestly didn't know that this was a thing. I guess I've never seen a channel just starting out until like last week. The World Hoppers channel is just starting out. I think that's what they're called. I hope it's what they're called. I like their channel, at least I like what it seems like they're going to be doing. Plug for them, go check it out, World Hoppers. This tag is just 10 questions. I'm gonna go through each question, except I'm gonna skip one because I don't have an answer for it. So let's start out with question number one. Question number one is, why did you start this channel? And I started this channel because I'm an author and I wanted a place for people to come once they read my books to interact with me and engage in the conversation about my books. And I wanted to be a part of that conversation too. So, and a positive one at that. So if you want to hear more about the book I'm writing, and if you're interested in that, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And I don't know how soon I'll be doing videos on that because it's not completed yet, and I don't like, that would be weird to do spoilers before it's even done. But if you're interested in finding out more about what I'm writing, leave a comment, let me know. Question number two. What are some fun or interesting, unique things that you are bringing to BookTube? And so the biggest one, actually you can go check out my previous video, is a prediction video. And this is something that I really liked about books when I was growing up. I loved like the anticipation of waiting for the next Harry Potter book. And even as you were reading, to talk to your friends and find out where they were at and like discuss what you thought was gonna happen. And like a lot of times if they'd already read it, they'd give you this smug look like, I know what happened. But also sometimes you could give that smug look, and it was really fun to just kind of see what other people thought and like really just like dive into these worlds and make your predictions. And so that's my big thing that I want to bring to BookTube, is to bring that fun back into reading books as a community. Question number three is, what are you most excited about this BookTube channel? And I feel like I've already answered that. I'm really excited for when I publish my book to have a place to interact with fans. And I'm also really excited to make predictions and like read the books with you guys instead of like doing reviews about books I've read. I want to like really engage in the world of individual books with you guys. Number four is, why do you love reading? And let me tell you, I love reading because I love going on adventures. I love like literally everything about books. I love going to new worlds. I love exploring, even if it's my own world, I get to explore it through somebody else's eyes. And I really get to like, even if it's this normal everyday world, I get to see it in a completely new way, and often it just feels like I'm in a different world. And so that's just something that's so cool for me. Number five is, what book or series got you into reading? And I have two sort of answers for this. I'm gonna give my if I really think about it answer first. So my if you really think about it answer is The Boxcar Children. I loved those books as a kid. I'm pretty sure that I was trying to collect them, and they had like the little numbers on them. It would tell you which number of the book it is, and I wanted to have every single one, and pretty sure I wanted to read them in order too, even though I'm pretty sure it didn't matter. And I just loved the mystery that came in those books. And the other book or series that I also claim as like getting me into reading would be Harry Potter. I like just Harry Potter is just like on its own level, and if you don't like Harry Potter, then like it's okay, you know, we won't judge you. But I love Harry Potter, so you know. So honestly, it's probably gonna pop up fairly often on this channel. I'll try not to overkill it, but yeah. Question 6 is the one I'm skipping. What questions do you have for other booktubers? I don't have any. Question 7 is, what challenges do I think will be the hardest in starting a YouTube channel? I don't know if this is really interesting to anybody, but you know, here it is. It's the question. The first challenge I think is going to be talking to the camera. I kind of struggled with that. Sometimes I even struggle talking to actual people about this kind of stuff because I get kind of in my head that it's like nerdy, and I don't want to be nerdy, you know, but you know what? Who cares? Second one is, the time. Second one's just time. It's hard to find time to film, and time to edit, and time to come up with ideas, time to plan those ideas. So I think that's going to be a challenge for me too. Hopefully that's the bigger challenge, because, you know, I kind of, it would be nice to, you know, just move on from this whole, like, I'm talking to a camera feeling, but, you know, maybe it'll never leave. Number 8 is when? Number 8 is, when did you start reading? And you know what? Like, I don't know. This is a weird question to me, but I don't know the moment I was born. I honestly have no idea. My parents were reading to me when I was really young, and I know I was reading those little kid readers. I remember we had a Pocahontas book. The little raccoon was kind of more of the protagonist than Pocahontas, and that was pretty legit. That raccoon was cool. I remember also had a Lion King book that like made sounds, and honestly I probably just made the sounds more than I read the book, but I do remember I read that book too. So I don't know, when I was a really little, I mean. Number 9 is, where do you read? And I typically read actually at work when I'm on my lunch break. I get a really short lunch break, and so I will literally like have my food in one hand, like eating, while have my book in the other hand, or I'll figure out a way to like spread my book out on my desk so that I can eat with 2 hands. Number 10, the final question is, what kind of books do you read? And typically I read adult fantasy, and for those of you who are not versed in book terms, adult fantasy is not like the other thing that you're like could easily think of. It's like fantasy, like Frozen, but not for little kids. It's for adults. And hopefully you already knew that. If you didn't, well, there you go. I've actually had people think that when I tell them that that I write adult fantasy novels, or that I'm working on an adult fantasy novel, they get really awkward, and you know, it's fun. But so some typical books that I read, I guess I do read other books besides adult fantasy every once in a while, but adult fantasy is my, like, this is where I'm at. So, for example, and I'll be honest, I am kind of newer in the adult fantasy, like, genre. I haven't really caught up. I'm reading a lot of stuff that's been out for a while right now. For example, I'm in the middle of the Witcher series. I just read the first 2 books. I finished Mistborn, but that was within the last couple of years. I've started the second era Mistborn, but I haven't finished it. And honestly, with any other Brandon Sanderson, I haven't read. So, like, I know some people are already like, right now. But let's see, I just started A Darker Shade of Magic, and a book that I read recently that wasn't fantasy. It was more sci-fi. It was called Barsk. It was about elevated elephants, and that was pretty cool. I was listening to the Tarzan books on audio. I really struggle to read classic books, but I can listen to them a lot. Like, I get more engaged when I can listen to classics. So I'm listening to Lord of the Rings right now. I listened to a bunch of Tarzan ones over the past couple of years, and so I don't know, that's kind of where I'm at. I did some thrillers I had like a year or 2 where I was just reading thrillers. They were fun, but I don't know, I feel like I don't get as invested in them. Thrillers are kind of like one and done in a lot of cases, so I love the long stories. I love just like getting lost in these series that just go on forever. So some books that I'm excited to read that I haven't yet are like the Stormlight Archive, or like finishing the series that I just talked about. I'm excited to read The Wheel of Time. Sci-fi series that I want to read is Red Rising. I've got a few other books that are just hanging out that I like are on my TBR kind of thing. Like The Promise of Blood, I've heard some really good things about that. But those are kind of, I guess, the ones that I mentioned are the ones that I'm most excited about. So, and if you like any of those books, or if you haven't read them, stick to my channel, subscribe, because I'm going to eventually be reading them, and I'm going to do the same thing I'm doing for the Dark of Magic, A Darker Shade of Magic, where I read one chapter and I predict what's going to happen, even like just based off of that one chapter. Then halfway through, we're going to do predictions again, and I really hope that you guys will jump on and interact with me on these. So maybe like just talking about what you think is going to happen if you're reading along, or just like interacting with me, and like we can go back and forth about some of our theories about the book, especially once we're done. So stick around, subscribe, and I look forward to meeting all of you. Ciao.